Imagine digging into the earth and hearing a sudden crack as your shovel strikes something hard, smooth, and impossibly ancient. That moment has changed the course of science many times before. Beneath our feet lies an entire hidden world built on bones, forgotten giants, and stories lost in stone. Dinosaurs once ruled this planet, yet much of their history remains buried in silence. But how did we begin to piece together their story, and what secrets are still hidden? Our journey begins in the 1800s, when fossil hunters roamed the countryside like treasure seekers, often clashing in bitter rivalries. Back then, the word dinosaur itself was barely known. These creatures were thought to be dragons or biblical beasts left behind by a great flood. It took courage, controversy, and occasionally outright lies to rewrite what we thought we knew about the ancient world. Long before that scientific awakening, folk tales from China to South America describe giant bones as the remains of thunder lizards or earth spirits. Those myths, retold for centuries around campfires, were humanity's first clues that something extraordinary once walked the land. In this video, we will uncover the untold histories, forgotten fossils, unsung heroes, and bizarre creatures that defy what we imagine when we hear the word dinosaur. You may think you know them, but the truth is far stranger. In the late 19th century, two men changed paleontology forever, but not in the way you might expect. Edward Drinkercope and Othniel Charles Marsh were locked in one of the most vicious rivalries in scientific history, known as the Bone Wars. What started as a race to discover fossils became an all-out war filled with sabotage, bribery, and destroyed evidence. They dynamited fossil sites to keep each other from finding bones, slandered each other in newspapers, and even bribed railway workers to reroute shipments. The frenzy brought dinosaurs into public attention. Museums raced to fill halls with massive skeletons. Many of the early names were rushed, and some dinosaurs were misidentified or outright fake. Still, without this feud, paleontology might never have become what it is today. It was science driven by ego, but it laid the groundwork for future discoveries. These were not just bones, they were trophies in a war for legacy that cost both men fortunes and reputations. Today, historians estimate the Bone Wars consumed more than $3 million modern dollars in field expenses, shipping, and legal fees, a staggering price for glory. Yet the species lists they created remain a benchmark for every fossil cataloged since. You have probably seen towering skeletons of Tyrannosaurus or Triceratops in museums. Yet most dinosaurs that ever lived have never been found. Less than 1% of all prehistoric life has left a fossil behind. The fossil record is biased, favoring large hard-boned animals in dry or muddy environments where preservation is possible. That means soft-bodied dinosaurs, or those living in forests or mountains, may be lost forever. Entire ecosystems filled with strange creatures we will never know have vanished without a trace. Some fossils are destroyed before they can be discovered, eroded by time, swallowed by rivers, or crushed under cities. Others lie just inches below our feet, waiting, without the right conditions or someone to recognize them. They remain secrets. Scientists use microfossils, such as pollen and tiny bone shards, to reconstruct vanished habitats and hint at the animals that once thrived there. These microscopic clues are breadcrumbs leading back to worlds we cannot fully see. If only a sliver of ancient life is represented in fossils, could we be wrong about what the Mesozoic world really looked like? Maybe our picture of the dinosaur kingdom is incomplete, even distorted. The missing chapters in this story are just as important as the ones we have uncovered. In remote corners of the earth, deserts, cliffs, and highlands, fossils of unnamed giants lie waiting. Some are so fragmentary that paleontologists cannot tell whether they belong to known species or something entirely new. A single tooth, a limb bone, or a partial spine might be all we have. These ghostly giants are known by nicknames like the Monster of Patagonia or the African Titan, but they remain officially nameless. Consider the mysterious Bryhothriosaurus, said to be one of the largest land animals ever discovered in India. Its fossils were fragile and degraded quickly. Some researchers doubt it ever existed. Others believe it might have dwarfed even Argentinosaurus. But with no complete remains, we may never know. Governments in fossil-rich regions now enforce strict laws on excavation and export. While this protects heritage, it also leaves many massive skeletons locked away in bureaucratic limbo. Their stories trapped beneath paperwork as surely as rock. These half-discovered dinosaurs remind us that even the largest creatures can disappear almost completely. How many giants have we missed entirely? If fossils are like puzzle pieces, we are working with a scattered, incomplete set, many pieces broken, some lost, and some from entirely different puzzles. Each one hints at something bigger. Not all fossils are real, and not all discoveries are honest. In the black market of fossils, especially in parts of Asia and South America, fakes are big business. Bones are altered, glued together from multiple species, or even sculpted from stone to fool collectors and museums. One of the most famous hoaxes was the Archaeoraptor, unveiled in 1999 as a missing link between dinosaurs and birds. It made headlines, appeared in National Geographic, and shocked the world. Months later, it was exposed as a forgery, a Frankenstein fossil assembled from different species. The embarrassment was massive. These scandals make the public question what is real and what is not, but they also show the desperation to find the next big discovery. Sometimes that hunger leads people to cheat, and sometimes it works for a while. Computed tomography scans and high-resolution 3D imaging now help experts spot glue lines and mismatched grains that the naked eye misses. Technology is becoming the strongest guardian of authenticity. Even reputable institutions have been fooled. Once a fossil is published, it can take years for someone to prove it is fake. In the rush to rewrite history, some stories are just too good to be true, and the price of truth is paid in doubt. While the Bone Wars made headlines, many of the most important discoveries were made by people whose names you have never heard. Mary Anning, a poor English woman in the early 1800s, found the first complete ichthyosaur skeleton at age 12. She went on to discover plesiosaurs and other marine reptiles, but because she was a woman and from the lower class, her work was ignored or stolen by male scientists. Decades later, amateur fossil hunters and ranchers in the American West stumbled upon the bones of giants while doing everyday work herding cattle, digging wells, or building roads. Some donated their finds, while others were dismissed. Indigenous scouts from the Blackfeet Nation guided early expeditions across Montana Badlands, identifying bone-rich layers long before universities arrived. Yet their contributions are seldom credited in academic papers. These forgotten figures remind us that science is not just made in laboratories. It is also found in muddy boots, homemade notebooks, and kitchen tables. For every famous paleontologist, there are dozens who never made it into textbooks, but their finds built the foundation we stand on today. Digging up the ancients is not only about bones, it is about giving voice to those who made those bones matter. What if we could see how a dinosaur moved, not just what it looked like? In rare cases, the fossil record gives us glimpses of behavior-fossilized footprints, nesting sites, even evidence of diseases or wounds. These traces are called ichnofossils, and they reveal stories bones cannot tell. A set of fossilized tracks in Argentina suggests that some sauropods moved in herds, protecting their young in the center. A fossilized nest in Mongolia shows a mother oviraptor sitting over her eggs, just like a bird. A hadrosaur tail found in Canada contains tumors, hinting at cancer in the age of dinosaurs. Occasionally, insects trapped in amber carry downy dinosaur feathers complete with microscopic pigment cells, offering direct evidence of color and pattern. They transform dusty skeletons into vivid, living creatures. One of the most chilling finds is a fossilized velociraptor locked in combat with a protoceratops, both preserved mid-battle by a collapsing sand dune. It is not just a fossil, it is a snapshot of ancient life and death. These moments, tiny, rare, and accidental, breathe life into skeletons. They remind us that dinosaurs were not statues, but living beings with instincts, families, and struggles. Some of the most surprising fossil discoveries have come from unexpected places. In Antarctica, once covered in lush forests during the Mesozoic, paleontologists have found dinosaur bones buried under the ice. They belong to species adapted to long periods of darkness and freezing temperatures. In the Sahara, once a vast river system, fossils of massive aquatic dinosaurs like Spinosaurus have surfaced. These creatures were not built for land, they were built for swimming. Their existence rewrites the idea that dinosaurs were only land dwellers, even underwater. In places like Montana's ancient lakebeds, scientists have found exquisitely preserved feathers, skin, and stomach contents. These fossils offer clues about dinosaur diets, environments, and even colors. High-latitude finds in Alaska reveal hadrosaurs with nasal passages adapted for heat exchange, suggesting warm-blooded physiology that helped them survive polar winters, a revelation that challenges textbook depictions of sluggish reptiles. The deeper we dig, the more we realize that dinosaurs lived in places we never expected: cold forests, tropical wetlands, and even high-altitude plains. Their adaptability was stunning, and it challenges the idea that extinction was simple or inevitable. One of the biggest paleontological revelations of the last century is that dinosaurs never fully died out. Birds, the ones singing outside your window, are their descendants. This idea was once controversial, but is now widely accepted. Fossils from China, particularly the Liaoning province, show small theropods with feathers, wishbones, and even wings. Some could not fly, but had plumage for display or warmth. Others may have glided between trees. Over millions of years, these creatures evolved into the birds we know today. Researchers have recently isolated collagen and keratin remnants from a Tyrannosaurus femur, hinting that soft tissues can survive deep time and may one day reveal genetic information, however fragmentary. This transition challenges our mental image of dinosaurs. Instead of scaly monsters, many may have looked like bizarre, toothy birds. Tyrannosaurus chicks might even have been fluffy. Evolution does not always end in extinction. Sometimes it simply takes a different path. When you feed pigeons or watch a hawk soar, you are seeing echoes of a much older world that never truly disappeared.